Hello, UNI Panther fans and Valorant fans alike. Welcome to Week 6 of the NECC regular season. Tonight, your 4-1 UNI Panthers from Cedar Falls, Iowa, will look to secure a playoff spot against the 3-2 Park University Pirates from Parkville, Missouri. Thank you for joining us on your Wednesday night. My name is Hunter, and joining me in the booth, production, and analysis is Star Clana. Star, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm not doing too bad. We've had a couple tech issues on our end, but we're here, we're ready to go. I'm excited. I haven't done a Valorant stream since we streamed on the second Twitch channel for the first time ever. Jeez, 3 years ago? It was when I was still living in the dorms. I remember I was driving back and just made it in time to do production for Valorant then, and I haven't done Valorant production since then, so it's been a while, but excited to be here.
It's been a minute. But yeah, thank you for joining us. I know Monty, who generally comes during these regularly scheduled games. Unfortunately, this game is a makeup for next week, and therefore Monty wasn't able to join us. So thank you for coming in and being like a last minute help. I know everything was kind of decided last minute, so thank you for your efforts and coming in. And yeah, so excited for a wonderful game of Valorant. So UNI, going 4-1 so far on the season, currently leads the Midwest B Division 5 of Valorant. Of course, their map differential is 9 wins to 3 losses, where Park is currently 3-2. Your starters tonight are going to be, for UNI, Pop-Tart, Remy, Claps, Beefman, and Favelet, while Park is going to have Floofy, Baker, Saipo, Emarji, and Tokyo. Now, when you first look at a map like Haven, it's pretty standard, pretty even keel. UNI on Haven only has a 67% win percentage, but still one of the most comfortable maps that they have played yet. And Star, do you know anything about Haven? Do you have a favorite map? What do you enjoy since you've last played a game of Valorant?
Yeah, I think I've watched more Valorant than I've played Valorant. I don't have any maps in particular. I'm pretty impartial to the maps, but I am excited to see Mr. Sirclaps on Jet. I remember last year, I believe, he had to play a different character because I think, if I'm remembering correctly, so I have seen this Valorant team play before at the University of Nebraska Omaha tournament. But I'm excited to see, I know Mr. Sirclaps obviously from Overwatch, so I'm excited to see, kind of how he does and how the team does. Maps or whatever. Haven looks cool. It's got some Asian themes. It looks pretty cool. I need to switch the team sides. But.
All right. So while you go ahead and do that, you and I gonna have to start on attack first. Of course, the map pool is going to be Haven, Ascent, and Pearl. UNI attacking for their first time here on Haven in the first half. Going to be interesting to see how that's going to come out. Of course, attack, a little bit more of a difficult kind of play style for them. Typically, they more favor defensive characters, but as you can kind of see, UNI rocking the Cypher, Omen, Breach, Sova, and Jet. Love the Mr. Sirclaps Jet pick, and we're starting out here on Haven.
Beacon.
And right out the gate, very aggressive push coming out from Park. Pop-Tart already taking out one, but 2 members of UNI go down in quick succession. But Remy, realizing that the A plant
Spike planted
is free, goes ahead and gets the plant, so Park gonna have to work around the A link topside. And of course, Haven, or I guess Baker, working that heaven. So really interesting to see. how that's going to work.
Last
Mr.
player
Circlap's
standing.
good for 2. Favelet and Remy get it done. And like clockwork, UNI winning the first round of the map. So, gonna have to see how things are gonna kind of play out here. Of course, Park did end up winning against St. Ambrose, and UNI's only loss is to St. Ambrose. So the power dynamic between these two teams, it's gonna have to be a game of momentum and swings, and it's gonna come down to where these attackers are gonna set their initial play style. And it looks like UNI is going to go ahead with that C-site push. Remy going to have to work around the C util there with the breach utility. And Park already knows that UNI is going to work that left side. Of course, Park working that C garage, and Pop-Tart with the Guardian able to get the first pickup on E Margie. Remy picking up Tokyo. And unfortunate that Mr. Circlaps goes down to Floofy. Of course, try to get out of there, try to regroup. However, UNI still has the spike. And maybe they're going to look to maybe rotate out and around. The big thing, though, is Pop-Tart with the Cypher. Working that B link and maybe going to try to catch them in transition here as UNI finally going to go and wrap around.
30 seconds left.
And Pop-Tart kind of realizing that maybe the rotation isn't going to be on that B side, going to be all the way back to the attacker spawn. And I don't know if UNI is aware of this. Beefman will go ahead and get the plant in time, but Pop-Tart with a big tick on Baker. Able to kind of be that A-link security here as the plant finally goes down.
One enemy remaining.
And Beefman with the Bucky gets 2. How about that? Way to go, Beef. And UNI gonna have to force the Pirates into a buy round now. Now, I'm really going to be interested to see as ultimates begin to build up how that is going to kind of play into things. Of course, Baker playing the Cypher here. It's going to hold that C site along with the Sova, which really interesting kind of pairing that we see here. Typically, you'll only see a Cypher or just the Sova hugging that C site. Of course, maybe UNI not going to push the C site. They are going to go into the B site garage doors area. And maybe this is what Park is expecting. Beefman kind of dueling with Sova, the Park Sova there on the C doors. And with less than 45 seconds now, UNI is going to maybe look for a quick engage on the plant. Mr. Circlaps, he's going to go in. Tokyo, Floofy able to take out 2 members of UNI. It's going to be a duel through the smoke. Raging Remy, he's down. Floofy able to pick it up, comes down to Pop-Tart with a shotgun, can't get it done, and Floofy for 3. A nice flawless play coming out of the forced buy round for Park University, and the Pirates are going to go ahead and take their first round of map 1. And Clove is such an interesting pick here, just with some of the kit that she has, playing that kind of B space, but also interesting to see here is Saipo on the Neon. Gonna have to really play aggressive with that Neon kit. Pop-Tart with the early pick on Emargy. Gonna go ahead and use the drone, get some information knowing that Park University isn't on the site. UNI is gonna go ahead and rush into the site, and Mr. Circlap's picking up Baker. So now it's gonna come down to a 4v3 retake, as Tokyo is gonna go ahead and get someone taken out, Fablet taking out Floofy. So that's gonna be a 2v4 retake now for the Pirates. And it's all going to have to come from that high side from Saipo. And Remy and Mr. Circlaps able to get it done on the hole. Going to go ahead and push it to a 2-round advantage. Now already we see UNI kind of playing a little bit towards that C push, has some good rotations. I feel like their pace of play has been really good. What Park needs to do is they need to kind of do what they did out the gate in pistol rounds, is kind of rush that B mid-courtyard space. And with them stacked up there, we'll see if they're going to do that here. UNI going to go ahead and work around to A site where Tokyo and Saipo are going to know that they're there. Mr. Circlaps not getting the drone kill, so Park knows that there's one and there's slight rotation around the top side of A. Going to be interesting to see how Pop-Tart's going to go ahead and work this B site center here. Maybe take a little space and get a lot of information here as Park begins to rotate. Now Mr. Circlaps, he's going to get taken down. Trade out with Raging Remy. Pop-Tart, good for one more. Beefman, good for a pen kill. Floofy gets the trade before he's traded out. And UNI is going to go ahead and get a clean plant. It's going to be Baker versus 3 members of UNI. And this is a tall order, as UNI knows that he's on that defender spawn link. And all UNI has to do is play the wait game. Baker gonna go ahead, maybe play Heaven Side, won't. And UNI, at this point, if you're Park, you're gonna go ahead, try and save the gun, get out, maybe get a kill. But UNI gonna go ahead and let the bomb go off. They're gonna save their guns as well. And UNI, another strong initial engagement, able to kind of get the plants, able to get the trades, which I find is very important here for this team. UNI extending their lead to 3 in map 1, looking to maybe push C site again. And of course you have that Baker Sova combo here with Tokyo. And which is unfortunate because normally when you're playing a Sova, you get a lot of information throwing that dart down that C cubby spot. You get a lot of information there. But out the gate, Pop-Tart able to pick up 1. Good for 2. Pop-Tart able to get the penetration kill on Floofy. Now UNI kind of realizes this and maybe they get a little bit more aggressive. They do. They take out both defenders on C site. And UNI is going to go ahead and rush in.
My ultimate is ready.
So Spike's going to be planted and it's going to come down to Saipo on essentially a 1v5 retake. Saipo trying to bait out the headhunter with little pop shots, maybe looping around. Remy has the angle. Mr. Circlaps. Beefman has the angle as well. He's getting the call out. Gonna go ahead and smoke the area. Saipo who was looking to engage there, kind of had an all or nothing mindset. Unfortunately, did not get any kills, so UNI extending their lead now to 4 rounds. And UNI looking pretty dominant here. What I would love to see now from Park is to, again, be aggressive. You kind of see that they're kind of hesitant on their rotations. They're kind of maybe playing too much of the mind games. Maybe they need to communicate more. Either way, Park needs to be more reactive on the defensive side, and who knows, maybe this is just their difficult side of the map. Pop-Tart again, good for the first kill. And you're taking away that breach, which is also really hard on those retakes. Saipo going down as well. So when you're losing the breach, you can't retake as much because you don't get as much stun. As Pop-Tart's good for 3. Remy gonna go ahead and get the plan. Of course, Emargy gonna take out Beefman. Favelet able to get the takeout on Tokyo. Pop-Tart, is he good for 4? No, Emargy gonna go ahead and take him down. And Favelet on 1 HP. It's gonna be a 1v3. Scratch that. UNI will take the W on that round. As Emargy again trying to come along from that high side, but it's so hard to re-engage on that plant when you don't have the breach. And I feel like that's what's really been missing here for this Park retake, is they don't have the breach. They don't have any real engagement in their kind of composition that they have for the teams.
Cage triggered.
Pop-Tart again trying to look for that first initial pick again, looking through mid windows. And UNI gonna slow down the pace here.
I am the hunter.
And Sova ultimate gonna come out for Park View. Tons of information coming from UNI on that C Windows central area. Floofy with the Bulldog, and Tokyo with the Marshall. Gonna take out 2 members of UNI, and UNI is gonna quick rotate around. And Park kind of realizes this late as Pop-Tart's gonna take out Baker. And Park needs to re-engage fast. And nice Cypher ult usage here from Pop-Tart. You're going to know where Park is going to rotate out and around from. And Pop-Tart going to get set up here on the defender. Tries to get one. Gets one. And unfortunately, Emargy's going to go ahead and res. Saipo able to take him down now. Remy, though, he's able to pick up Saipo. It's a 2v2. Remy's good for another one. And running out of time, however, Tokyo able to get the kill. It's not going to be enough time. Favelet gonna commit the solo ultimate to get the win confirmed. And I'm not sure if I would have committed that. Of course, maybe you get a little bit of econ save, but then now you're down some ultimates and kind of looking at the ult economy here. Sure, UNI is ahead. Don't necessarily know if I agree with committing the Sova ult. But, hey, you get a kill, add it to the total. Mr. Circlap's going to go ahead and use the Jet ult. I expect a very quick engage here. Jet's going to go in, finds one with the knives. Unfortunately, gets taken out by Floofy. And Favelet with 2! Remy able to pick up one more, and it all comes down to Baker in defender spawn. Favelet going to play aggressive here. And he knows Baker's there. Tons of information gathered here. Gonna look for the 1v1. And Favelet good for 3 on that round. UNI pushing their lead 8-1.
Gotta go.
And it all came off of a really nice engagement from Mr. Circlaps there, committing the jet ult, of course, what I would kind of expect to see here as we are, you know, coming into the later half, or later of the first half, is maybe UNI kind of cycling 1 or 2 ultimates every round, just so you kind of get the confirms going on for the round wins. It's going to be another C push. This time, Tokyo with the Marshall taking out Mr. Circlaps, but Fablet through the smoke taking out Saipo. And a really nice initial engagement here from UNI. Pop-Tart able to pick up Floofy as well. Emarji just not patient through the smoke. And dies because of it. Raging Remy down to 1 HP. Gonna have to work around that A Heaven side. Cage comes out for Baker. And Park is going to have a very interesting re-engage here. He's going to have to maybe commit some communication here. Get some information, maybe attack both angles at the same time. Baker with the Headhunter finds one. Tokyo goes down though. Beefman able to secure it out. And again, another initial nice engagement from UNI. Of course, the issue I feel comes down to maybe the re-engages aren't the strongest suit for Park University. So maybe the Pirates need to go back to the drawing board here as we're kind of nearing towards the halfway mark. Of course, UNI only needs to win 4 more in order to get the map 1 win. Gonna see how of course they're changing it up with the A side. Beefman able to take out Floofy, however Pop-Tart gets traded out by Margie. So it's going to be a 4v4 here on A, and Park knows it. Fablet, good for 2. Raging Remy taking one down as well. And it's all going to come down to Tokyo. Tokyo on that A-Link side. And UNI set up for that kind of defense there. Mr. Circlaps knows, gets some information. As Tokyo's trying to get some information as well with a little bit of the shock darts. Mr. Circlaps knew that Tokyo was there, and UNI with a 9-round advantage. Last round before the half. It's going to be interesting to see how Park's going to play this one. Of course, you see the kind of standard off play here. Interesting to see now how the Cypher is being set up on that A side, where I would much rather like to see the Cypher on the C side, because just those trip wires are a little bit more confined and you kind of understand where the engagements are going to be there. Sova ultimate's going to be committed by UNI. Gets a couple tags and a kill confirmed on Saipo. So UNI committing heavy to the C site push. Park Pirates are going to be there on the defense. Love to see the Brimstone there working that little side corner. UNI is going to try and rotate around. Pop-Tart, though, good for 1 against Floofy. He's looking for 2. Can't. Tokyo there on the defense. And now Cypher going to go ahead, or excuse me, the Sova. Tokyo going to go ahead and use the ult on the A site. And it's a pretty even match here round before the half. Tokyo only with a Guardian is going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out.
30 seconds left.
But Park is going to stack up on the A-Link side. Mr. Circlaps good to take out Tokyo. Beefman going to go ahead, pop through the smoke.
1 enemy remaining.
And with that, Fablet, Mr. Circlaps able to go ahead and get it done.
Switching
11
sides.
to 1 is your half.
Okay, we
You
know
and
the
I
drill. Stick to your roles and we'll
only
crush
has
it.
to win a few more games in order to take map 1. Now, Star, since we're at the half, I'll go ahead and bring it in here. What are your thoughts so far from this half?
Yeah, well, you know, I know that, I mean, UNI has been looking pretty dominant here, just looking at the score, 1 to 11, being for UNI. I am curious to see if things are going to change, you know. Like I said earlier, I don't know the maps too well, but I do understand that some maps is easier to attack, some maps is easier to defend. So I'm curious to see what, you know, UNI is going to be doing for their defense, and if Park Pirates are going to be able to kind of find their footing maybe on attack, where they weren't really able to do so on defense.
All right, out of the gates, Saipo
here.
able to go ahead and take out Beefman and a very aggressive B push. However, UNI kind of realizes that. Favelet able to trade out Saipo, but it's going to be a 4v2 retake. Favelet able to take out Baker. And of course, Floofy going to be there for the initial engagement.
One enemy remaining.
Floofy able to take out 1, but Favelet is good for 3. And Remy gonna go ahead and get the defuse along with Favelet in a really nice re-engagement from UNI there on the B side, of course. That's
Match
usually
point.
the standard
Their
play
winter has
on the
come.
first point
Bury them.
in pistols, is maybe getting cheeky with the B round push, but UNI kind of realizes it, able to get this done, and Park U going to go ahead and maybe flash the
This
C
goes here.
link push here. Either way, it all comes down to this for map 1. And Saipo getting aggressive, but Beefman with the judge. Emargy able to get the trade out. Pop-Tart's good for Emargy. Pop-Tart's good for another. However, he gets taken out by Floofy. Mr. Sirclaps with the Marshal, or excuse me, with the Outlaw. Trying to take out the last 2 members of Park, trying to secure map 1.
One enemy remaining.
Favelet able to take out
down,
Floofy.
C.
But Tokyo with the Marshal takes out 1. And Mr. Sirclaps gets the shot on Tokyo. And UNI going to go ahead and take map 1, 13 to 1.
And there we saw UNI was able to keep up their, you know, their attack just as strong as their defense in those last couple of rounds. Now, going on to the next map, I'm not sure, I haven't done these games before. Is UNI going to start defending this time, or will they still be attacking, or does that depend on...
It all depends on what's selected in the pregame. So it's kind of similar to those who have played Overwatch, where, you know, home team picks a map, then second team picks a map, and then there's a picking of sides. And essentially how it kind of fell out is we had just had Haven on attack. Now we have Ascent on defense for UNI. So UNI gonna defend first on Ascent. Also, Star, would you like to do our merch shout out?
Oh, of course. Well, looks like exclamation point merch is gone. I guess it was exclamation. I was just looking at the commands that have been a little bit confused. Looks like they've been changed through Nightbot. Okay. Oh, it still works. Well, then why doesn't it have it under exclamation point commands, Nightbot? Interesting. Anyways, yeah, if you go ahead, want to support our merch, want to get some beautiful, beautiful UNI Panther Esports merchandise. We've got jerseys, t-shirts. I'm assuming, I'm not gonna lie, I have not looked at the new shop since it's switched. Pretty
That's
bad.
fair.
Shouting out. But yeah, go support UNI. I know it's got great prices and a great clothing for you to check out. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's gonna be like any in-person. I know they were looking at planning some events, so if you want to get ready to support UNI in person, should definitely check that out.
Yeah, I think there is going to be a Mario Kart 8 tournament at Mocker Union on, I want to say, April 19th, but don't quite quote me on that. Either way, join our Discord. We'll have all information there. And I think you either go down and click on our Discord for the invite, or I guess do ! Discord. I don't know if that works. Either way, here we are on Ascent on defense, and I didn't quite get the names of the agents, so I think we're having a deadlock. I'm pretty sure there's a deadlock, and Deadlock is my favorite character to watch. Just defensively, with that ultimate, if you are able to go ahead and capture an enemy agent with the Deadlock ultimate, it's basically like game over at that point, which is really awesome on initial stands. So hopefully
So
we'll
does
see.
it look like UNI is defending?
Yes, they are defending first, so you might have to swap them around. Yeah, I think you do have to swap the names around again.
I believe I did, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yes, so it is a deadlock, and I love Deadlock. Of course, UNI running the Jet, the Sova, the Omen, and the Tejo. Interesting to see now that Saipo is playing the Killjoy. So maybe looking for a little bit of that initiation, as the first blood of map 2 is going to be handed to Saipo. And Tokyo
Spike
going to go
planted.
ahead and be taken out next. Beefman able to take out Floofy. So as the spike gets planted, UNI is going to have to rotate around to A site. Let's see how they're going to interact here. Mr. Circlap sees through the smoke, has to reload on the
One enemy
flash.
remaining.
And Emargy, Saipo, able to take out 2 members of UNI. However, Remy, who's good for 3, is going to go ahead and get the defuse. And UNI, again, I sound like a broken record, good on their first round. So going to be interesting to see how UNI is going to go ahead and defend these 2 different spots. Of course, Ascent is just one of those interesting maps where there's a lot of tight corners, a lot of interesting ways to kind of engage, a lot of choke points, which typically in that regard, maybe you see a little bit more Brimstone for that re-engage, but I do like the Deadlock play, especially for that B site hold. Remy, who's going to be aggressive here, going to get nicely done for Raging Remy, able to take out Tokyo, who is being a little aggressive there on the corner. Saipo, though, taking out Remy. However, a battered Park Pirates team going to have to look for a different engage. Davelet trying to poke through the map. Saipo, though, able to take out Beefman. But Mr. Circlap's able to go ahead and get the trade. So it looks like it's going to be a B site rotation now for Park U. Going to work through that B main site where Mr. Sirclaps
One enemy remaining.
is going to have to work there with the Bulldog. Able to find one on Baker.
Planted.
Going to be kind of fighting on point. Floofy with the Headhunter. And Favelet able to go ahead and take out Floofy. UNI, again, good for their first 2 rounds.
Gun here.
And UNI going to go ahead and kind of pick up some weapons here on the initial buy. Maybe get a couple Headhunters for themselves, which only saves on Eco even more. That's the whole reason why these first couple rounds are so critical on the momentum, like a game like Valorant. Now, what I would love to see from Park University here is they need to kind of play their own speed, kind of engage a little bit more, I guess, sparingly, because that initial aggression was just a little bit too much. Of course, then you're down 2 and you aren't able to utilize as much character abilities like normal. And already out the gate, Floofy, though, able to take out Beefman. Mr. Sirclaps trading out Floofy, though. So this is exactly what you kind of need to do. You need to kind of be patient and methodical in your first couple of engagements. But Fablet with the Outlaw taking out Saipo.
Enemy mark.
One enemy remaining.
Pop-Tart able
Spike
to take out
down
Tokyo.
Revealing
And
area.
now with the spike down,
Throwing net.
it's going to be a hard moment here for Baker as Pop-Tart, who's good for 3, able to take out Baker, and UNI pushing it to a 3-round advantage. Now, one thing that I'm going to be interested to see here is how UNI is going to continue to kind of defend. Of course, when you start getting ultimates, I know Raging is 1 away from an ultimate. Whoever our Deadlock is 1 away from an ultimate. So it's going to be interesting to see how it cycles through here. But Tokyo able to take out Favelet with the Headhunter. And I love this B push aggression from Park U. Mr. Sirclap's going to have to work around the mid-market site. Baker able to go ahead and get the plant.
Spike planted.
Remy, though, able to take out Saipo. So it's going to be a 4v4 retake, UNI. Going to have to see how they're going to re-engage here. Oh, wow. Tokyo with a nice headshot. Mr. Sirclaps, though, able to take out Floofy. Mr. Sirclaps able to take out Tokyo. And it's so difficult here on this part of the re-engage. Gonna commit the Tejo ult.
Last player standing.
And Baker, who's good for 2, gets taken out by Beefman. And UNI is gonna go ahead and push it to a 4-round advantage.
The spike is diffused.
A really excellent job there, of course. Committing the Tejo ult, I think, was necessary in order to kind of get that B site win, because the B site's just so difficult to re-engage on because of the back area, because of the sidewall, and UNI, who didn't really necessarily have numbers, did a great job at leveling the playing field.
Shutting them down.
The Pirates are going to stack up on that A main site. They're going to have to be a little aggressive here. UNI knows, because of all the gun discipline commitment, there was a couple shots ringing out from Park U. And here comes the initiation. Pop-Tart, good for 2. Pop-Tart, though, getting traded out by Floofy. Raging Remy, he's going to work the corner. Floofy's good for 2.
One down.
Nice job
Ammunition.
by UNI Remy, who initially got the res off on a Park U KO and just spraying through the smoke, able to get that kill confirmed. Mr. Circlaps committing the knives. He's good for one. He's going to try and rush on point. Remy good for one more. And Mr. Circlaps with the judge getting the kill confirmed. So it's aggression meets aggression so far. And UNI on top with 5 rounds to nothing. In what I would really like to see here from Park U is maybe just have a little bit more discipline on the re-engagements. Or I guess when you're thinking about maybe rotating out and around, maybe work a little bit more quickly in that space. Of course, you took the B site relatively quickly. That's what you wanted to do. However, you and I already heard kind of the gun discipline and knew that a lot more members were around A site. So they kind of rotated around and had a really nice re-engage. But now Park U's playing a little bit more out. And Favorite with the op is going to get the first pick. He looks for 2 and finds 2. Emargy's going to go ahead and go down.
Confirmed kill.
Remy able to take out Saipo. However, Saipo taking out Pop-Tart. So you lose the deadlock ult, which
One enemy
again
remaining.
is almost a huge win condition, as Mr. Circlaps able to take out Tokyo. And it all comes down to Baker. But he finds Mr. Circlaps. He's got a Marshall.
My ult is ready.
And Favlet good for 3 on the op. Favlet doing an
If you're not a
excellent
good shot
job
today, don't worry.
coming
There
in
are other ways
clutch.
to do this.
UNI extending their lead to 6. And with that confidence booster, I would fully expect Favlet to be a lot more aggressive here. Now Park U just needs to get a clean engagement and a good hold. As Park is going to stack that A main side. I do like the split push here in that mid catwalk area for Park U. Mr. Circlaps going to get tagged. So if you get that pick on Mr. Circlaps, that's a ton of value. Park U's going to commit the Omen ult. He's going to get taken out. Favlet's going to use his ult on point.
One enemy remaining.
And
Spike
Pop-Tart,
down A.
who's good for 3. Able to kind of stand his ground on Heaven of A site. And it all comes down to Tokyo, who's at 1
All
HP.
enemies accounted for.
Of course, when you're in a simple 2v1, Pop-Tart, who is good for 4 that round. You and I with a massive 7-0 lead. And Park U really needs to go back to the drawing board here to see how they can maybe dig themselves out of this one. I would be interested to see if they could be more aggressive here on the B site push.
No heroics. Follow protocol. Listening. Get out of my way. Ooh.
Class able to go ahead and get the first blood done. And gonna try and commit the other one. Beefman, though, able to pick up the pieces of Tokyo. Mr. Circlaps good for 2. Can't get the third as Saipo with the ghost, able to take him out.
One
And it's
enemy remaining.
kind of a
Spike
risky
down
round
B.
that
I do prefer when they put up a
Park
fight.
U just could not quite commit, as kind of had the right idea there, just maybe not necessarily the execution that they wanted. And back to it as UNI extends their lead now to 8-0. Really interested to see how Park U's gonna maybe try and re-engage, because it seems like to me that they go like AAB, AAB, and now they're going like BBA, and we see another full B push, and it's gonna have to come down to Mr. Circlabs recognizing
You should run.
that it's gonna be a full team commit. And a really nice recognition here from UNI, able to get the early readout with the information. And UNI knows that this is where Park U will make their stand on the B site. UNI gonna have to re-engage here.
Spike planted.
Mr. Circlaps will go ahead and use the jet ult, as the Knives gonna look to re-engage past the wall. Tart has that deadlock ult. Maybe we see the commit here. Yes, we do. Able to grab one, taking out Tokyo. Tons of information comes out. Teho ult also going to be committed. And a whole host of UNI members go down. It's going to be a 1v1. And Floofy is good for 4 on the Sova. And the UNI team momentum stops right here. So really nice hold for Floofy. Excellent job here, just kind of getting the engage, just set up nicely. And Floof last week against Briarcliff went 27, 35, and 15. So really coming up big here against UNI.
Briarcliff is in this. Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Group.
Yeah. Fablet with the op, able to take out Floofy. And Raging Remy able to take out Baker. Remy, who's just doing an excellent job here in quick succession, takes out the entire Park U team in less than about 3 seconds of the initial engagement, and UNI extending their lead 9-1. Now, going to be interesting to see how Park U is going to go ahead and work here. I do not like the singular Floofy push, I believe, on with the spike. So maybe you look for the information, get the engage, wrap around to A site, get a good hold there. However, Floofy's working along that catwalk, and Fablet taking down Tokyo. Beefman good for Emarji. Floofy, though, taking out Remy. Beefman taking out Baker. So Pop-Tart taking out Saipo. So it all comes down to Floofy, who had the right idea, should have maybe got the bomb plant, but Floofy able to take out Beefman. However, Mr. Circlap's able to get the job done. So UNI doing a nice job at recognizing that the whole team kind of makes their stand there in the B main, maybe thinking about the full push. However, I feel like Floofy maybe should have went and got the plant after getting that pick on the UNI A defender, and because I feel like at this point it's an information game of like who's on what site. Park U might just be questioning themselves a little bit too much on where UNI is, and that's what's caused them this 9-round deficit. Mr. Circlap's gonna get taken out by Tokyo, and okay, Pirates, go ahead, get the plant and get the engage
Spike planted.
secured, and they go ahead and get the spike down. So really nice engagement here. Then I look for a strong hold. Remy gets some information there. Sova ult being committed by Park U, and cannot get any value from there, but Pop-Tart able to tag Emarji. So one's knowing you're in the back room, Pop-Tart getting taken out. Favelet, who's good for 2? 2 and 32 HP. Remy, though, getting the headshot. Gonna look to try and get Floofy. Bomb is going down, and a nice hold for the Pirates.
Switching sides.
So at
We
the
are strong
half,
because we are
UNI
together.
leads it
Don't forget that.
10-2. And maybe, just maybe, we're starting to see elements of life here in this Park U Pirates team. So, at the half star, what are you liking? What are you disliking?
So, I mean, you know, I think so this time around we got to see UNI start on the defense, which, you know, I think we're still, like yes, we did get to see the Pirates come back, which I think is kind of exciting, you know, seeing a little bit more fight is always fun. But it still feels very dominant just in terms of UNI.
I completely agree there. And out the initial pistol rounds. Here comes another full B push. And maybe this might be the win condition here for Park U is get the B site plant,
Spike
get the
planted.
hold. As Chokio's going to go ahead and draw first blood on Favelet. Pop-Tart able to answer the call. He's good for 2.
Stay down.
Mr. Sirclap's good with the ghost. He's looking for another one.
Enemy remaining.
And he's good for another one. And UNI did a nice little engage there only on pistols and just showing their mechanical skill. Winning round 1 again. UNI currently leading 1-0 in the series, looking to win it out straight here. And hoping to improve to 5-1. And almost guarantees them, I'm pretty sure if the math's out correctly, guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. Favelet and UNI gonna stack up there on A site. Pop-Tart who's gonna work around 1v1, able to take out Baker. And Park U's gonna be split. They don't know where all of UNI is. They realize it late after the plant goes down. And Mr. Sirclap's gonna have to work from that heaven site. Tokyo. Oh, Favelet. Good with the Bulldog. Emarji, though, taking out Mr. Sirclaps, who was looking to re-engage. Play with the Bulldog. Favelet, he's good for another, and he's good for 3. UNI and match point. 12-2
Match point.
in game 2. Now, I would fully expect here a full push on the B site. Get the hold. Kind of commit a little here. But it looks like UNI is going to go ahead and go with that A site push. If I was Park U, I would maybe start game planning. Maybe we full hold A. Maybe we full hold B. And then just go and get the recommit on the site retake. Because you cannot lose these trades like you have been all series long. Here comes UNI. They're going to go ahead and stack the A main site. Go ahead, fire through some smoke. And Park U knows they are knocking. UNI checking the rear. They're going to go ahead and rotate around. Back. And it might be a mad dash for B site. UNI checking the corners, looking along the catwalk. Pop-Tart able to take out Floofy. And Park U just still trying to find where all of UNI is. Emarji, though, taking out Favelet. Mr. Sirclap's able to take out Saipo. And UNI might get this plant a little more aggressive here. Mr. Sirclap's taking out Tokyo. However, Emarji off screen taking out Remy. So it's going to be a 3v2 and not a
30
single
seconds
one with full health. Pop-Tart going to go ahead, throw out some util, blocking off Arc U, and they're going to have to rotate around defender spawn. Bomb is down. It's going to be a 2v3 retake and a tall order for the Pirates. Bomb beginning to tick down.
One
Baker,
enemy
who's
remaining.
down to one, gets hit. And Beefman able to take out Emargy. And UNI wins the series 2-0 with a 13-2 win on Ascent. All right, so with that in mind, Star, what did you like from this series?
Yeah, I think, this was my first time watching UNI play Valorant this season, and, they were very dominant this game. I mean, believe, so this one was 13-2. I believe the other map was also 13-2, if not 13-1.
Yes, 13-1.
So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool, I guess, just to see how well, UNI plays together and just how great these players are at Valorant. And, I'm looking forward to April because I get to see them all play at the UNO tournament. And, this makes me excited. It makes me feel like they're having a very good season. And I'm just really glad that they've been doing so well.
Yeah, I completely agree. Really excited to see how the Valorant team, in their very short span, really being so dominant in the NECC space. So really like to see this competitive nature from them. Of course, we saw a super competitive league team last semester, so really great to see a really competitive Valorant team this semester. So yeah, really excited here. What if you had to pick a player of the game, Star, who would it be and why?
Well, that's really tough. I feel like we saw a lot of people perform really well from UNI. I feel like I don't know a whole lot about the game, but I feel like Favelit kind of like going back to game 1, but also in game 2 just had a lot of just some kind of like clutch plays, both first round and second. Yeah, I don't know, everyone from UNI? Don't know if that's a possible answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, what would you say?
For me, I feel like my player of the game, I think early rounds would have to be Favelit, and I guess if I had to hand it off to someone else too, it'd be Pop-Tart, just because of how well they've been able to take the one-on-ones and 1v1s, able to go ahead and kind of get those early kill confirms, the first bloods. We've saw a couple runs with them where they would get 3 kills a round, 2 kills a round in kind of quick succession. And I feel like that kind of bolstered the team in order to play as dominantly and as freely as they did. So if I had to hand it off to one of them, or I guess 2 of them, it would be Favelit and Pop-Tart.
Yeah, both great choices here. Let's see if we can...
Now, did you want to do an interview, I guess?
Yeah, I'm down to do an interview with anyone
All right.
from the team.
All right, I think we're getting somebody pulled in. So in the meantime, do you want to shout out merch again?
Yeah, I just saw 2 people joined. Yeah, so if you haven't, I have like the streamer thing on, so Here. If you haven't already, feel free to check out the merch store for UNI, exclamation point merch. All kinds of great things in store for you there. Yeah, feel free to check out our merch.
All right, so joining us is going to be Pop Tart. Pop Tart, congrats on the win today. How are you feeling about this dominant matchup against Park U?
Oh, the same. I feel like we're actually playing at our best right now, especially these last 2 games. I know you guys didn't record the last video, but I think we've had 2 dominant weeks the last 2 weeks, so it's been pretty fun.
Absolutely. What was kind of the one thing that you think was the biggest differentiator between these last 2 matches and maybe the first 3?
Honestly, I feel like we've been playing a lot more together. I wouldn't say like practicing, but like we're always talking to each other. I feel like that's always helpful. Gaining chemistry with each other. I feel like every season too, like I feel like later down the season we always do a lot better together because I feel like we just start gaining more chemistry with each other.
Absolutely. What questions do you got, Star?
So your next match after this, do you guys have another match in the groups, or is it going to be playoffs?
It's going to be groups,
yeah.
I believe.
Okay. 1 more week or 2 more weeks of groups?
Just one more week. We have to reschedule that one too. I'm pretty sure Claps is complaining about it. So it's always Claps, he always has to complain about the schedule. So
I mean, that's probably spring break, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure like Favourite can't play and Claps can't play, so we're gonna try to get that rescheduled as soon as possible.
So you think that will be like kind of coming up this week, next week, or do you think it's gonna get pushed further?
Maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks. Yeah, I don't know. That's a more of a Claps question. I know it says I know it says I'm the captain, but Claps does everything still, so it's whatever.
Just wondering when we're gonna be seeing you guys next, or I was gonna ask, like, if you do play, kind of coming up soon, what you're gonna be doing, kind of with all of that time, like in between. Are you guys gonna be having more practice to kind of prepare, get ready for finals, or not finals, but for playoffs, or to get ready for the tournament in April?
I mean, hopefully we get practice in. I feel like all our schedules don't align with each other, so we never get to really scrim.
Oh, wow.
I also I feel like me and Billy work. I think we're the only ones that work, so then it's like hard to find a time since my evening is always taken up on 2-3 days. So.
Well, we never could have guessed that you guys hadn't had too much practice, because you guys looked very, you played very nicely together. Seemed to run like a very well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
So,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. I was just going to go into the next thing, but go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to say anything more. I was just going to say yeah. So.
All right. So kind of looking at that Haven map, I know you got a couple early first initial picks there on Haven. Was sort of kind of the solo play already baked in the game plan, or can you maybe talk us through why you kind of went that mid push a lot?
Well, like Haven, they usually go and goof off somewhere else on the map while I just go around seeing if I can make any space and maybe have them rotate over, or if I hear any people rotating, then I could tell them there's people coming off this site, so then I can go, or so that we can start going to the other site. Say if there's stacked on a site and we can't really get on, then I can inform them to rotate, is usually what happens. But yeah, no, I've been on Haven especially, is usually the map where I usually just take mid the entire time and just try to keep that space from letting them push up. I know that first round they pushed up pretty fast, and I told him to come back and help me get everyone off that fast push, and it worked out. So that was good.
Awesome. So what do you think you guys kind of specialize in? Do you think you specialize in attack, defense, or retakes the most?
It's definitely defense. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like when we played, like, I think majority of our maps we've played defense every single start of the game, and I think it pans out really well. I know on Haven though we did start on attack and we still did really well, which kind of surprised me. But I'd like to say that we are more of a defensive team. At least I know I love starting on defense, especially playing Sentinel. I love starting on defense because I know where they're coming from. So yeah. Other than that, I would definitely say it's a defense. We're a defensive team.
Yeah. So maybe talk to more about why do you think attack works so well on Haven first time for this first map?
Well, I think I'm not gonna try to glaze myself, but I feel like getting those picks mid really helped because, or if they like, even if they push mid, then we usually just fast push a site because there's nothing that's really gonna stop us from pushing that site. And usually I can take on probably one or two people coming up, like trying to flank fast. So, but yeah, no, I that's typically, yeah.
All right, perfect. Star, do you got any more questions before we wrap up things here?
I mean, the question that I
The
always
serious, the
have
super serious question?
Yes, the very super serious question of, sorry, I'm trying to ban this bot out of the chat. The very super serious question of, what is your go-to Oreo flavor? Like, type of Oreo.
I don't really eat Oreos because I'm not big in chocolate, but I guess like it has to be double stuff. Like I don't like just this normal Oreos. Double stuff is where it's at. Or if it's like the vanilla and chocolate sided ones, I love those ones. Like I like the vanilla cracker a lot, though. But I've always grew up on Chips Ahoy. I'm gonna be honest. So
Oh.
Okay, is it Chewy Chips Ahoy or do you like the standard?
it's
That's
chewy.
real-
Oh, it's definitely chewy.
That's the only right answer.
Right.
All right. Well, other than that, congrats on the win tonight, Pop-Tart, and good luck on your next match against Clark, and hopefully see you guys in the playoffs.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Star, any final thoughts before we wrap it up here?
No, check out our merch. Tomorrow, I don't know if there's going to be any games tomorrow, but Friday we've got Overwatch, so stick around for that. That's all I got.
All right, so as we kind of close out things here, when we're done here, go ahead and head on over to our UNI_Panther Esports 2 channel, where we will have the UNI Rocket League team playing game 2 of their doubleheader tonight against Clark University. So Clark Pride Navy is going to be their next matchup. That's going to be at 8 o'clock on the second channel. Otherwise, catch UNI Valorant, I guess, next week, maybe later this week. Who knows? We'll able to see their final game of the regular season before playoffs. So for Star Clana in production and analysis, my name is Hunter. Thank you so much for joining us tonight as UNI sweeps Park U 2-0. Like always, thank you, and go Cats.
bracket, but I have high hopes for these guys. Colin goes to the backboard, double touch, and he gets it.
He's got sight and a good pick. Another